Happy Friday. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for a successful back to school night last night, to the teachers and your efforts in the classroom and communication with parents. It's greatly appreciated. Also to Pat Helsley, to Mike Jacobs, to Christine and Pat Esposito for their work in the coordination of the evening and others, facilities who helped out and made sure things went smoothly. Thank you to everyone. I wanted to provide a few updates on some things and then some information about our meeting on Tuesday with the faculty and staff so that when we get together on Tuesday, you have a full understanding of why we're getting together and the things we're going to discuss as best we can so that we can have a good conversation at that time. So, the faculty and staff feedback forum, we met this week. We had a great conversation about what that group is and how we can discuss the opportunities and the challenges that we face and provide feedback from faculty, staff to administration, and also ideas that can help our schools. So that meeting occurred. During that meeting, it was decided that we're going to add a faculty member because looking at the 4 faculty members who are on there, their years of experience here are short. So we thought it'd be helpful if we add another faculty member to the group, which is a good idea. So we will be selecting out of the hat very soon and notifying everyone about who that faculty member is. Also, in the feedback that was survey that was given to faculty and staff last week, communication concerns seemed to come up in that survey. The feedback form did a great job of kind of clarifying what that concern is and making sure that we're getting you information, especially ahead of our parents and our students when we can, so that you're informed as to what you need to know. So there is an email going out to our parents later today just about the survey that they filled out last Friday, and that we're looking at that survey and that we're meeting with you on Tuesday. And there'll be discussions about possible things that we can consider as we continue in hybrid ghost. Also in that email is a few additional announcements about the next back to school night on Tuesday, about the honors convocation and things like that, so that there's a communication coming. Once that's complete, it will be sent to you immediately, but there shortly after it will be sent to our families. And in the future, we're going to try to be a little bit quicker with that timeline so that you get stuff earlier, hopefully like a day in advance before things go out to our parents. So in regards to Tuesday's meeting with the faculty and staff, we want to look at the feedback that we received on Hybrid Ghost and some of the ideas that can be considered so that we can be better. There is no perfect educational plan, but we need to be better, and we should be looking for that better. And I think at this point, we've learned a lot. We've learned through our personal experiences that we've had in Hybrid Ghost. We've learned through the feedback from parents, from students, and from our faculty and staff. And we also learned from back to school night and our interactions with parents there and some anecdotal feedback that we might have received in that evening. So at this point, we have a lot of this learning that we have. And I guess the question is, what can we do to be better? Not to be perfect, but to be better. And when we're making those decisions to be better, how can we be better for our students, for our teachers, and for our parents as we make these shifts in Hybrid Ghost? So here's a summary of the feedback that we heard from each of those groups. In regards to our students, they talked a lot about connections with teachers. They expressed it as if in a normal year, they know these teachers and they have significant relationships at this point, a few weeks in, but that they're not feeling that connection. And a lot of that might have to do with our schedule or with our struggles to connect with them while they're at home. Additionally, they talked about too much free time, which was an interesting piece of feedback coming from students. But I think the way that the classes are scheduled with the 70-minute periods, a free period is a long period of time. And sometimes that butts up to a lunch period, or that butts up to an advisory period, and they get even more extended period of time. So students are sort of expressing that they feel like they have too much time on some days. Our teachers talked about planning and preparing fatigue, and I think we've talked about that, and we can hear that, and we have to make some changes to address that. Also, our teachers talked about their connection with students, how they're finding the struggle to build those relationships that normally are being built at this point, and then student compliance, most notably during non-academic time. Additionally, we heard from our parents, and some of the feedback that our parents shared was they're looking for more structure for their students in the at-home days. I think some of those expectations for structure might have been addressed last night at the first back to school night, in that when parents hear your plans as an educator and how you can best educate their son within this current Hybrid Ghost, that might help some of those concerns. But I also think that if we look at the connections piece, that also could help with the structure piece. So the structure and parents identify connections as well, and also too much free time, which I think is a factor of the schedule that we created with the longer class periods. So that's the feedback that we've heard in summary. Now we have to look at where are the opportunities for us to address as much of that feedback as can. Again, not probably being able to find a perfect solution that appeases all of them perfectly, but a better solution than where we are right now. And I think there's three areas in talking with the administration and with Greg and the executive team that we can look at that give us opportunities to maybe be better and address the feedback that we receive. Those three areas would be first, the schedule, the length of our periods. Is there an adjustment or a pivot that we can make with the schedule so that the length of periods maybe help that free time concern, and maybe 70 minutes of free time is not as much of a negative if it's constructed as 235 minutes of free time. Also, schedule in regards to our class sessions. We're seeing our students once a week in this 70-minute period. If we take and make them shorter, but increase the frequency, the number of times that we see our students in person, would that be more effective and maybe more helpful to our planning as well? Also, attendance, the grouping of students. Maybe we consider a shift in how students are grouped. Currently, we have a red and a blue, but are there other options out there? And people might have ideas on that. And also, consideration about the duration of time between in-person sessions. Someone shared with me this week that, or last week, I apologize, that the first week went well, but when they said goodbye and they realized a full week, that was kind of a tough thing to take. Maybe we can decrease that amount of time between the in-person sessions to help with, the students' connection and the teachers' connection with their students. And then the third area we can explore is the use of technology to connect with students on at-home days. I don't think there's a perfect solution, and I think if we have one blanket approach, that we're not going to be at the better way to educate, like finding the better to educate. But if we explore what the opportunities are and what the options are collectively and individually, looking at our collective strategy in line with our individual strategies, we might be able to be better in using the technology for connection on the at-home days. So those are a few of the areas that we can explore. And when we get together on Tuesday, we wanted to get you this information ahead of time so you could sort of hear the feedback, consider some of the areas that we can explore, and maybe have ideas that you share with us, because sharing them sooner is more helpful to our planning than sharing them later. But when we get together on Tuesday, maybe look at what some of the ideas within those areas to explore, what some of those models or shifts or changes might look like. We're hoping that getting this information out to you ahead of time will help our time together on Tuesday. Also, if you are uncertain about something or it didn't make sense, reach out, send me an email, stop by, connect. Also, I'm continuing to push how important it is that we share with each other our challenges and our successes. So that Schoology page is there. It seems to me to be the most, to be the best way at this time of the tools that we have, but maybe there's a better way that I'm not seeing, that we can communicate with each other and share the things that we're doing well and the things that we're challenged with. Thanks. I'm looking forward to next week and to the challenges and to our time together and to making some changes to help you and our students. But it's important that we continue to work together, to rely on each other as we're working through the complexity of education these days and the difficulties that we face in this challenge. Have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday.